What's going down, faithful? We got our first prediction Friday of the year, and we are going to do multiple predictions. We are going to do our yearly award predictions. So we're going to do player of the year, MVP, offensive player, all that kind of stuff. We're going to get into that. We are going to talk about some of the practice updates that we got from Kyle Shanahan, and we're going to do score predictions and all that. It is the first Prediction Monday of the year, which means football is finally here. Let's go. You already know what to do. Smash the like button, drop a SDS in the chat. Let's get after it. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. What's good? We have made it. Finally, it is Friday. We have a game on Sunday. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get into it. So, before we get into our predictions, as I've talked about, we are going to do yearly award predictions. We are also going to do score predictions, player of the game, stuff like that. Let's talk about some of the news and notes heading into this year and everything that we got heading into this season, or week one, I should say. So, from an injury perspective, sounds like the 49ers are getting healthy at the right time. We do have two questionable players for this upcoming game. George Kittle groin is questionable to play against the Steelers. Cornerback Charvarius Ward-Hill is questionable against the Steelers. Both players were limited today in practice. Kyle Shanahan went on KNBR yesterday and said that he feels pretty confident that Charvarius Ward will be good to go. George Kittle, going to be interesting to see if he will be good to go, because based on what Kyle Shanahan said, is that George re-aggravated an injury against the Chargers. So it's somewhat a new injury, I guess, or not a new injury, but like a reoccurring injury, because as we know, George had missed some time in training camp and stuff like that. And apparently George re-injured himself in the game against the Chargers. So I do think we have to be a little bit concerned about George at this time. We don't know for sure what it's going to be or where he's currently at. And I do think we have to monitor that situation pretty closely, because as it stands right now, it does feel like the 49ers could potentially rely on Dwelly, Warner, and Willis to fill in for him if need be. So, all things considered, 49ers are healthy heading into week one. But question marks on George Kittle and seeing what he's about. So we'll see. We will see if George Kittle will be out there playing. Obviously, as fans, you want George Kittle out there. You need him out there because he will be a big part of the San Francisco 49ers game plan and going into what the 49ers need to do to win this game, right? Because let's face it, it's not going to be a gimme. It's not going to be just super, super easy or anything like that. So 49ers going to need all hands on deck and get everything going heading into this game against the Steelers. So we will see. Shout out to Don Burr, 49ers legend, even though he's a Detroit Lions fan. Been a legend leading up to the 2021 season when the 49ers opened with Detroit. Detroit's looking good, Don. Detroit's looking good. I'm a big fan of what they got cooking over there in Detroit. I like what I see. I'm very impressed. As you guys, I've always said, like, even though Jared Goff used to be in division, I've always been a big Goff guy. Um, as a Cal fan, so I've always been a Goff guy. They got Marvin Jones over there rocking with Cal gang. Uh, Gibbs looks like legit. Like I wasn't really familiar with his game, but Gibbs looks dope. He needs more carries. Uh, the Detroit Lions come away with a win over the Patrick Mahomes led Chiefs, and man, that game was not looking good. None of Patrick Mahomes' wide receivers wanted to catch the ball, including Kadarius Toney. That was a rough outing for Chiefs wide receivers. So sucks to be them. So Chiefs fall and Detroit up. So shout out to Don Bird checking in. But let's start our yearly award predictions. So obviously we have been covering the Nick Bosa situation. It's pretty much what we've been talking about nonstop. Nick Bosa officially signed this morning, and so he's locked up officially, pen to paper. I don't know if you guys saw the dap heard around the world between John Lynch and Nick Bosa after they signed that contract, but boy, was there some power behind it. There was some big time power behind it, but it just felt like a release of all the frustration that has been going on with that whole situation for some time now. So that's done, and we get to look forward towards Week 1 against the Steelers. And I'm really looking forward to this game. Really looking forward to getting football back and all that type of stuff. All right. So as you guys know, if you haven't been here before, when we've done our award predictions, so what we're going to do is I'm going to pull them up. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to give your takes on it, to give who you think should be awarded this, and then I will provide who I think or who I have pegged for these specific roles. And we're gonna get into it. All right. So I'm gonna do this for both sides of the football in this first one. So let's do offense first, and then we'll do defense as well. Let's do who is going to be the most underrated player on the offensive side. This is where you drop it in the chat who you think is going to be the most underrated offensive player that's going to come up big for the San Francisco 49ers. Let me know who you guys think it's going to be, and then we'll do defense right after this. But I feel pretty good about who I got as going to be one of the most underrated guys. And as you know, I got to show some love to the offensive line. I do think that for underrated, I'm going to go, Jennings, that's a good one. Willis, good one. Danny Bell, that's a good one. Juice, that's a great one for sure. But if I'm going underrated, I'm going to go Aaron Banks. I'm going to go with Aaron Banks being the most underrated player on the offense this year. I think Aaron Banks is going to have a big jump this season. one of the things that I was able to see in preseason, and one of the things that he really needed to work on in regards to the run game was getting to second level. He was kind of out of control when he was getting the linebacker, and it would kind of mess him up. One of the things that we saw on tape right away from Aaron Banks was his ability to get to second level was much better, much cleaner right out the gate. So we already know he's a good pass protector. The fact that he can add that running element into his game is going to be huge. I think Aaron Banks is going to have a phenomenal season. So I'm going to go most underrated on offense. I'm going to give it to Aaron Banks. I think, we're going to have to lean on this offensive line. This offensive line is going to have to pull a lot of weight this year and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to need it. And, it is scheduled to, I think, rain week 1. So we might get a lot of running. And we started week 1 last year on the ground. So going to have to rely on that offensive line. So I've got Aaron Banks cooking right now. I think he's going to do really, really well. Not only that, let's do defensive side. So you might have done defensive. Someone saying Colton. Colton's a good one for sure because we're going to need Colton to step up big time, and he's going to be tested pretty early here. He's going to be tested right away, so we got to get after it. So most underrated defensive player. I want to see what you guys think for the most underrated defensive player that is going to be on the roster this season. Again, obviously being underrated means not getting a lot of credit now, but is going to pay dividends for the San Francisco 49ers in the future. It's a stacked roster. Right at the top, we've got Bosa, Hargrave, Armstead, Warner, Greenlaw, Hufanga, Charvarius. Like there's a lot of quality stacked individuals on the defensive side of the football. But we need someone who's going to be a little bit underrated, who's going to shine. Looking at the chat, I see Drake Jackson is going to have a huge year, and I do not disagree. Brandon wants Drake Jackson. Gibson, for sure. Drake Jackson is going to go crazy. A lot of Drake Jackson so far. Jackson. How about the Niners says he's going McKivitz for offense and Clellan for defense. He says Clellan Ferrell got 4.5 sacks in his best season. Kosurik can elevate that. I think he has a career best year. Boomerat says Jackson and Gibson. Ryan says Dre. I think he's in for a huge freaking year. I don't disagree with you there. And oh no. Nick Bosa's live. So we have to pause. Nick Bosa's live. Was not anticipating this. Let me see. Is it? They don't have it. They don't have it. All right. Of course. Of course, it's not live on YouTube. So hold on a sec. We might have to switch this up. All right, we're gonna have to do it like last time. I'm gonna simulcast. We're gonna come back to this, but because Nick Bosa is live, we're gonna switch on over to this. So give me 1 second. Nick Bosa currently at the podium. Get him queued up, ready to go. Nick Bosa coming in hot right here. Let me get the sound up. I'm gonna restart it. Why can't I restart it? All right.
It's hard. I mean, you don't know what people are thinking. You don't know um, really what's going to happen. You're just getting updates every once in a while, and um, the closer it got, the more it seemed like it was a possibility. But I'm very appreciative of this organization, obviously for believing in me, and the York family for believing in me, and I just want to thank them um, for doing that, and uh, John Lynch and Kyle for believing in me. It's definitely an honor to be able to um, be with this organization for the majority of my career.
2019 a guide for you in that you could, go right up to the start of the season and still perform well?
Yeah, I think I did kind of the same thing in 21. I was around, but I wasn't really practicing as much. And yeah, I wanted to get out here at least get a couple days in, and I've been training the whole time, but it's different just doing all football stuff. And past 2 days, it's felt really good, so I'm really confident.
Closest you've been able to do to kind of duplicate what you can do on the field, what you'll be asked to do on Sunday? Is there anything in training that can really get you ready for what you're going to go through on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, my trainer Todd Rice, we work with him, me and my brother, and all the stuff we're always doing is training for to play the game. Obviously, it's strengthening everything, um, and just improving upon mobility and strength and speed and all that stuff, and strengthening your hamstrings and being ready to take on a 17 game season. So I've been doing all that, but you can't necessarily do the the reps. Obviously, you don't have offensive linemen to go against, and you're obviously managing risk. So there's a little bit of a difference there, and it takes a little bit of time, but I'm confident.
Is it playing for a new contract to get the contract and then playing with it once you have it?
I haven't played yet, but I'm definitely thinking that it's going to be a weight off my shoulders, and I'm just going to be able to really not really think about all the, the negative thoughts that come along with playing this game, and just be free out there and play for one reason and to win games.
What are your realistic expectations for Sunday in terms of what your workload? How close to normal can you be?
I'm confident. I'm not sure what Kyle's plan is, but I'd be up for normal workload for sure. But I haven't talked to him yet.
Experience after the days after the first game in 19 and 21. I mean, you feel more sore for not having had gone through training camp?
I feel like just like the initial like contact that you go through playing football and that stuff, but overall, your hip flexors, your groin and stuff will probably feel a little more sore, but it's all just adapting to playing the game.
Joe, reaction like from your teammates when you came back, and what did it feel like for you to be around the team again?
It was unbelievable. I've been waiting for that moment. That's probably one of the biggest things I was excited for, is to walk in the building and see all the guys. Um, I know they have my back. Players have each other's back in this league because it's business at the end of the day. It's business at the end of the day, and it was really cool to see everybody.
On back-to-back days, agreed to terms. I know he's a friend of yours. I think same representation too. What was it like going through this process with him going through a similar one at the same time?
It was interesting. We would shoot texts back and forth and be like, you almost there, you almost there," and a lot of it was not much update for weeks on end, and then finally he sent me the eyes emoji, and I knew it was time for him. I forget what I sent him when I got it, but it was cool.
With everything you've been going through, have you had any time to prepare for the Steelers and what you're going to be going up against in their offense?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in meetings past couple days, and I've practiced today, so should be good.
You got a big contract. Anything on your first purchase? Your first big purchase?
Definitely get a house out here, which will be a pretty big purchase in this area. Good. Thanks.
There we go. Nick Bosa, ladies and gentlemen. Just being Nick. Good luck to him. Even with that $170 million, it's going to be challenging to buy a home out here for him. So best of luck to him. Purchasing a home in the Bay Area during this time. Thoughts and prayers to him. I don't know if 170 million is going to be enough, but I'm just kidding. But seriously, the housing market out here, trash. So bad. Good for Nick, man. Glad he was able to get paid finally. All that good stuff. Well deserved. Finally ready to go for the year. Put all this behind us. Heard from Nick for the first time. And good to go. All right, let's hop back into it, though. I got to kind of power through this one. Most underrated. My most underrated defensive player, my offensive player was Aaron Banks. My most underrated defensive player is going to be Clelin Ferrell. I think Cleveland is going to have a huge role for the San Francisco 49ers this year. I think, obviously, with Nick Bosa, with Hargrave and Eric, I do think Cleveland and Drake will rotate, and Drake has an opportunity to have a really big year. But I do think that Cleveland is going to have the nod, right? He has the nod right now over Drake, and Cleveland has an opportunity to revitalize his career. Obviously, he's considered a bust because he was the number 4 overall pick. He was overdrafted. He shouldn't have been the number 4 overall pick, but he wasn't a bad player. And now I think being in this environment, in this system, Clelin Ferrell is going to have a massive year. I project him to have over 6 to 7 sacks this year. I think Cleveland is going to be fantastic in the run game, and he's going to be able to provide a little something in the passing game as well, especially as the 4th option, basically, on that defensive line. So the most underrated player that I have is going to be Cleveland. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to make a lot of plays this year. So looking forward to that. Let's go on to our next. Let's do Coach of the Year. Who do we think the Coach of the Year is? Obviously, a lot of options. Kyle Shanahan, obviously, at the top. Steve Wilkes at the top. But you got other coaches. You got other coaches out there. Chris Forster, Bobby Turner. You have Brian Fleury. You have Brian Greasy. You have who else? Johnny Holland. You got a bunch of different coaches out there. So who's going to be Coach of the Year? I'm going to have to go with Psych. I'm going to have to go with his name is Chris Forster, not Chris Kocurek. I'm going with Forster this year. This is going to be a big year for Forster. He's the run game coordinator. He's obviously tasked with that offensive line. He has Colton McKivitz as his right tackle. He's getting Spencer Burford in his full first year as a starter. Aaron Banks heading into year 2. Brendel heading into his second year as a starter. I need Chris Forster to be able to be the guy that is going to step in and have a phenomenal coaching performance Need Chris Forster out here to have a phenomenal year with that O line. Now, obviously, O line doesn't get stats, right? They don't get stats or anything like that. So, you know how it goes. Let's see here. So I got Chris Forster. I think it's his time. Who's going to be the comeback player of the year? This one might be easy. I think this might be an easy one. Out of all the players on the 49ers coming back from injuries, who's going to be the comeback player of the year? I think we could all chalk that one up to Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is going to be the comeback player of the year. Coming back from the UCL, what he had to do, he's for sure going to be the comeback player of the year on this team. I absolutely think so. I don't think there's too much of a question about that with everything that he's had to go through with this whole situation. So it's a pretty simple one. So this is we added this one last year. So we did hero of the year. Who was going to be the hero of the San Francisco 49ers last season? Last year, I picked Talanoa Hufanga to be the hero of the San Francisco 49ers. I think he's well deserving. You know, he did a good job. He stepped up in a big time role for the 49ers as his first full year as a starter. So Talanoa definitely did a good job. This year, if I had to do hero, someone who's going to really help step up and save the year, I'm going Dre Greenlaw. I think Dre Greenlaw is going to have a phenomenal season. I think he's going to be in that conversation. This might be a year where the 49ers turn out 2 all-pro linebackers. I think he's going to have one of those types of seasons. So, with all that being said, I got Greenlaw as the hero. He's going to have a big time year. So he's my hero for the season. I think he's going to be getting turnovers. I think he's going to be doing all that type of stuff. So really looking forward to what he's going to be able to do. Let's do rookie of the year. So rookie of the year, obviously, if we go through, we got Jair Brown, Jake Moody, Cameron Latu's on IR, so we won't see Cameron Latu at all. We have Daryl Luter, Robert Beal, who's on short-term IR, D. Winters, Jalen Graham, Ronnie Bell, and Braden Willis, and Jalen Graham. So we also have some undrafted free agents, but obviously from the class right there. I see a lot of people in the chat saying Ronnie Bell, and obviously a phenomenal guess, especially after the preseason that he had and showed that he could absolutely make an impact early on. So Ronnie Bell definitely is in that conversation for offensive rookie of the year. So, but I do think Ronnie will have a bit of a hard time getting on the field just from what we've seen in the past. Obviously, I really think it would take a big time injury for him to see the field more. So that's where I think Ronnie Bell might not get it for me. I think he could absolutely get it, but I think he's going to have a hard time seeing the field. Now, I could be wrong about that, but when you got Debo, Ayuk, and Juwan in front of him, and who knows when Ray is going to be back and if he slides in front of Bell. We know that rookies, wide receivers in this scheme tend to come on slow. So I don't see Ronnie getting too many opportunities outside of maybe kickoff return and stuff like that and spot duty. So I'm not picking Ronnie Bell. Even though he's worthy and he is more than capable, I think his opportunities are going to be limited this year. So the guy that I'm going with rookie of the year might be a surprise to some of you guys because I haven't even seen anyone name him yet. I think, and I've felt this way since the 49ers drafted him. I've talked about it. I've posted about it. I think the rookie of the year is going to be Braden Willis. I think Braden Willis is going to have to step up this year. And with no Latu, right now, I would say outside of Kittle, Braden Willis is the best receiving threat as a tight end that they have. You know, Dwelly's got hands. He does, but he's limited athletically, and he's not that great of a blocker. And I do think, Kittle's already dinged up at the beginning of the year, and we know the 49ers run a lot of two tight end sets. I think Braden Willis is going to get some run this year. Obviously, Jair Brown, he's going to be right in that category for sure. Jair Brown's going to play a lot this year. But I do think Braden Willis is going to get some ops. And I think by the end of the year, I do think Braden Willis will make some big time plays for the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm low key hyped on Braden Willis. Again, he was phenomenal in training camp. So I think Braden Willis gonna have a nice year. Really looking forward to what Braden Willis can do. Jair Brown, again, is another good one as well. This one might be an easy one. We'll see. We'll see how you guys feel about this. But how are we feeling about... I thought Willis looked better than Dwelly. Dwelly looked like Dwelly, which he looks like a capable tight end. You know what I mean? But I really like what I saw from Willis. Willis flashed a lot. But let's talk about who we think defensive player of the year is. It's going to be very, very interesting to see because there's a lot of good options, right? You have Bosa, you have Hargrave, Eric. We talked about these names, Fred Warner, Talanoa. There's a lot of different options for the 49ers, but I would also believe at the same time with the options, it also might not be that difficult. Everyone might have a pretty similar thought process on who this player is going to be. And of course, interested to see what you guys think. I see Bosa, Fred Warner, All-Pro Huff, snags 10 picks this year. Okay, I like that prediction. That's a nice one. I like that one. I'm going Bosa. I think he was my defensive player of the year last year. I'm pretty positive. And I'm going to go with them again this year. Got the bag, energized, ready to go. I think Bosa's gonna repeat and go crazy. So I got Bosa as the defensive player of the year. This one, you could go multiple different ways with offensive player of the year. Obviously, the 49ers are stacked at weapons with offensive players. I'm interested to see what you guys think about that in regards to who you think the offensive player of the year is going to be. You've got Ayuk, Debo, CMC, Brock Purdy, Kittle, O-line. Does the O-line get any votes for offensive player of the year? I don't know. So what are you guys thinking for offensive player of the year? Because I do think you could go in multiple different ways. Debo, I think Debo's going to explode this year. Absolutely. I think Debo's going to explode this year. He's going to be phenomenal. 49ers are going to get something great out of him this year. So definitely looking forward to it. And everything that he can bring to the table. Obviously, Ayuk could absolutely explode as well. But my offensive player of the year, I'm gonna Brock and roll with Brock Purdy. I think he's going to be the offensive player of the year for the 49ers. Everything needs to roll through him. He needs to be the point guard. He needs to be the facilitator. He needs to be the engine that moves the offense. All those weapons are cool and all, but if you don't have a guy who can operate the scheme and operate it at a high level, it doesn't matter. So that's why I got Brock Purdy as the offensive player of the year. I think from what I've seen from training camp, dude is going to be able to manage this offense masterfully. He can get better within the scheme. He can improve. He can see the field better, all that type of stuff. So I got Brock as my offensive player of the year. A lot of great options, right? A lot of great options. But I do think Brock is going to have a good year, and he's going to elevate the offense even to another level from what we saw a year prior. So I think he's going to be right in the center of it all. And he's going to have an efficient season. We know he's not perfect, and we're not asking for him to be perfect. We're just asking for him to win football games. And if he's winning football games, we're good. We are good. So MVP. What do we got for MVP? Now, this one, you have all the options at your disposal. You can double dip if you want, but there are plenty of options here for 49ers MVP. I mean, the 49ers are stacked. So the list goes on and on of who could be the MVP pizzle of the San Francisco 49ers in 2023. Who's it going to be? Huh? Drop it in the chat. Who's going to be the MVP of the San Francisco 49ers? Huh? I see so far, I see some Bosa's. I see some CMC. I see some Brock. I see Debo. I see some more Bosa's. I see some more Purdy's. We getting a Purdy MVP again. You can double dip. MVP's a double dipper. You could be OPOY. You could be Depoy and win MVP as well. So you can double dipper. You can double dip if you want. We call them the double dip. This is who I got as my MVP. I think this guy is going to be imperative to the San Francisco 49ers success this year. I think he is going to all eyes are going to be on this player all season. I think he is going to have a Stephen Curry like impact in regards to gravity. I think his presence changes the outlook of damn near an entire unit. So, him being here, and whether he has the ball, whether he doesn't have the ball, his importance to this team cannot be understated. And because of that importance, he will be the MVP and has an opportunity to have an absolutely insane season from a production standpoint. So because of that, that is why this guy, awesome focus. Good job, camera. Yeah, you can't see it. That's CMC. That's Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is going to be this team's MVP. His importance, I mean, I think a lot of players are going to have good years. But again, his importance, whether the ball's in his hands or not, Christian McCaffrey is going to go ham. Full year in the scheme, understanding it, full year at the roster. Guys, the O-line's going to be better this year. They should be better. Like I said, Aaron Banks is going to be better as a run blocker. Run blocking last year was mid. Like, shout out to my O-line boys. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It was okay. There's tons of room for improvement. And that improvement is going to be met with Christian McCaffrey's ability and having a full year in the system, and Kyle Shanahan having a full year to game plan with this guy and draw things up. I do think that Christian McCaffrey is going to be this year's MVP. So that's who I got. I'm excited for this year, man. We got so much talent, so many different levels. It's going to be phenomenal. This team has so many different opportunities to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it. But that's going to transition us into kind of our Steelers look ahead. Steelers look ahead. Who do we got as our offensive player of the game? Let me know in the chat who's going to ball out for the 49ers week 1 against the Steelers. Who's going to bring it home? Who's going to be the guy that gets it done for the 49ers on the offensive side? Let me know in the chat what you guys are thinking. Who's going to be the guy week 1? I see Debo, Brock, Debo, CMC. I like the Debo one. Debo one's a good one. Debo one's a good one. 2 touchdowns for Debo. Okay. I like that. Ayuk, Brock. Yeah. Brocktoberfest. Let's go. I like it. CMC, Mason, TDP, running back room. Ayuk. I'm gonna go. I like the Debo. I'm gonna go Debo. Get Debo the ball. Let's see what Debo does. Debo's. I feel like been festering on a lot of what happened last year, and I feel like Debo's ready to explode. They're all ready to explode, but maybe a rainy game. Ooh, that's another consideration, though. It is expected to be a rainy, wet game, so maybe that kind of pulls us away a little bit. It might have to be CMC, because if it's going to be a game that's won on the ground, might have to be CMC. But Debo has an opportunity to do well in that game, that type of game as well, because he can take the ball from the wide back position. He can do it in jet sweeps. And he can do it on screens. So the 49ers can get him the ball in a variety of different ways. So I would say it's either CMC or Debo. But I do like the Debo one. Debo one's good. Debo one's solid. I like that one. I'm going to go with Debo. That seems like a fun one. Let's go with defensive player of the game. Who's going to be the defensive player of the game? It feels like it might just have to be one person. It feels like it might be that guy, right? Might be. Feels like it could be the guy that we've been missing all along. just feels right that Bosa just walks onto the field and completely impacts the game on a completely different level. Dude looks in shape, looks ready to go, looks like an unstoppable force. I think Bosa, I want him to be my player of the game. We'll see. I see some Hufanga. I see Mooney, Greenlaw, Hufanga, Hargrave revenge game. Facts. It just feels like everyone's gonna get a lot of juice off Bosa being back. I'm excited for it, man. Bosa and Fred, I like that. Yeah, I'm going Bosa. Just feels right. Feels like the stars have aligned, and Bosa's got to have a big game. At least I hope that's the case. All right, we've gone to that point. Let's go final score predictions. What is the final score prediction going to be between the San Francisco 49ers and the Pittsburgh Steelers? Reminder, weather is to be expected. So I'm not anticipating a game that is just high scoring. So I do think it is going to be interesting to see how this game ultimately plays out on the road. 10 a.m. start, inclement weather. Brock Purdy's first start since UCL could be interesting. To say the least. So we'll see. It's too late for Nick to get the C. To be fair, they were voted on when he wasn't technically on the team. So he'll probably get it next year. He's going. It's the same thing that Debo had to go through. So he'll get it next year. I'm not worried about it. So some of the first score predictions that we got right off the bat, 31-24, somewhat high scoring game. 35-10, 24-17, 24-21. Close game, 24-17, 24-16, 28-17, 27-21, 24-13, 24-10, 27-17. Hey, I stayed up late last night, but I felt good sleeping. I haven't got my nappy just yet, but I just feel relaxed, I feel good. Feel much better. 27-17, 28-23. Bosa with 5 sacks, Hargrave and Armstead with 2 sacks. Is this on the season or in the one game? We're going to have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sacks in one game. Shoot, that might be the record. 27-24, 35-13. Charlene says, I literally decided I shouldn't try score predictions. That's funny. 24-21, Moody wins it. SF spanks the sleepers 44-24. We got 24-17. 9-3 we lose. I think that's the first loss that we have with only the 49ers offense scoring 3 points. That would be a wild game. 27-10, 34-26, 28-24, 34-17, 38-21. We assert our dominance like last year. 33-24. Okay. 42-10, 27-10. So I think it's going to be a close game. I do. I think Pittsburgh is well coached. I think they have good weapons. I think they're like the younger version of the 49ers. Like, Kenny Pickett and Brock Purdy, really similar quarterbacks, to be honest. Similar vibes. So I like Kenny Pickett. I think Kenny Pickett has an opportunity to be a good quarterback in this league. And we'll see if that shows up against the 49ers. We'll see if the defensive line can get home. Obviously, one of the keys to victories is going to be rattle Kenny Pickett, get to Kenny Pickett early, and really mess him up, because what the Steelers are going to try to do offensively is, again, very similar to the 49ers. They want to run the football, and then they want to hit you with play action. Run, play action. Run, play action. Slant, run, slant, play action. They want to get you in that loop of, is it run, is it pass, is it play action? So they're going to hit you with Najee. They're going to hit you with Warren as a change of pace. They got Pickens. They got Deontay Johnson. They got Allen Robinson as their 3. Freiermuth, Darrell Washington. So they have weapons on offense. They're definitely a little bit younger, but again, they're going to operate very similar to the 49ers. They're going to try to control clock. They're going to try to keep the ball out of the 49ers' hands. So that's what I do expect from their offense. So if the 49ers can get them into 3 and outs and just get the ball back, that would be ideal. I don't want a team like that to get in rhythm. I think that's one of the keys for the defense, is mess up their rhythm, mess up their ability to get into rhythm, and that will really help the 49ers' chances in a hostile environment. Obviously, the 49ers are going to have again a similar game plan. They're going to want to run the football, and running the football is going to help neutralize the pass rush. Screen game is going to help neutralize the pass rush. Short passing game is going to neutralize the pass rush. So as we know, they got J.J. Watt, they've got Cam Hayward, they have Highsmith, they have Herbig. So they got talent on that defense. Minka, they got Joey Porter, Pat P. What's good, Pat P? Pat P's going to get abused. That's one of my predictions. Pat P's going to get abused this game. And I'm really looking forward to that now, after he predicted an interception on Purdy, and says he knows the 49ers offense as if he is the all-knower of the Kyle Shanahan scheme. So very, very much looking forward to Pat P getting torched, getting cooked by Brandon Ayuk per usual. So I think it's going to be a close game still. I do. But I do think the 49ers come out on top. As long as they play their game. Again, you could see how quickly things can change. The Chiefs probably should have won that game, but their wide receivers can't catch. And you can see how quickly mistakes can derail the outcome of the game. So as long as it is what it is, man. We're going to say it every year. As long as the 49ers play their brand of football, take care of the football, and limit the mistakes, they should win every game that they play in. So it's this is going to be a good opponent. It's going to be a good matchup. They're going to test the 49ers. It's going to be a good game. I don't see it being a runaway win by anyone. So I have the San Francisco 49ers winning 24-21. Might be something where it comes down to a Moody kick. Ooh, might have to get the heart rate monitor out for the first game if we see Moody coming out to kick the game winner. But to be honest, I would rather Moody be in that situation early in the season and help put himself at ease, help put the fan base at ease. Listen, I don't think it's ideal, but it would be the best case scenario if he gets put in that situation and he makes it, because we need to build confidence in that young man, because he's going to be kicking for us all year, and we need as much confidence instilled into him as we can. So I got 24-21 San Francisco 49ers come away with the dub. First game of the year. Bosa returns. Go crazy. I'm excited. We get football on Sunday. Let's go. So a bit of a programming note for game day. I will be actually doing 2 lives on Bleacher Report. So I'm going to still do my pregame show here. So I'm still doing the pregame show. I'm going to do inactives on Bleacher Report. So we're going to do a live prior to the game discussing player inactives. And then I'm going to be doing a post-game show right after the game on Bleacher Report. So you won't see me here right away. I'll be on Bleacher. If you're like, where's Brad? Why isn't he live? It's because I'm going to be streaming on Bleacher Report's app. And then when I'm done there, I will pop on and I'll have a reaction and all that type of stuff. So just a programming note, I'll be on Bleacher Report on Sunday before and after the game. Steelers will do inactives on Bleacher Report, and we'll do post-game reaction on Bleacher Report. And then I'm coming back to YouTube, and we'll do our thing. We'll vibe out. We'll react to the good or bad, whatever happens, and do all that stuff. So excited to continue to partner with Bleacher Report. Again, full circle moment for me. It's all kind of started in the Bleacher Report comment section, has led to where we are today. So again, always cool to be able to start the year streaming on Bleacher Report, partnering with them, and getting after it. So excited for this year, excited to get this season started. Let's get this dub, guys. Been a wild off season. Let's start this year with the right foot forward. Let's get a W. Let's beat the Steelers. Get ready to head into Rams week. Looking forward to it. Probably won't be going live tomorrow. I'm going to go back to my normal schedule of lives 6 days a week, taking Saturdays off. I'll still be posting content, but won't be doing lives on Saturdays unless it is required. So we'll see. But smash that like button before you head out. Hope you guys have a phenomenal rest of your Friday. And we are going to get after it. We've got football going. Woo! Let's go. Appreciate you guys. I'm out. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to